how people take jokes.
All righty. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar, The Art of Selling SEO. Nick, you like art?
I do love art. I studied art. I love it. It's good for you.
What's the difference between like an art and a hobby?
I think it's the amount of time and dedication that you put into it and whether or not it's an actual want of what you want to do, right? There's nothing worse than somebody saying, "Oh, I love this," and they've got a couple hours into it and then they're on to the next project. So that's what we want to. I think the art of it is you're dedicated to it. It's become part of your identity.
Yeah, well, you've put so much into it, right? It hasn't just happened. All righty. Well, let's get going. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I'm Aaron Presbury here with the famous and beautiful Nicholas Padilla.
Love it.
And we're going to talk today about the art of SEO sales. Let's dive right in. I'm going to share the screen. I failed to do that before. So let's make sure it works. We're actually here in the same room today, me and Nick. So is that right? Is that working?
It is working.
Let's go full screen. All right. Okay. So art of selling SEO. Specifically today, we're going to talk about the discovery process. Got all these true crime podcasts out there. Discovery, investigation. These all play a part into the successful SEO pitch, relationship, and ultimately it lays all the foundation for a good experience for our customers. So we're talking about discovering and diagnosing the problem that small businesses have. All right, Nick, tell us about the lady here with the heart cushion.
I love it. Care. You actually have to care about the person. Now, when it comes to me in sales, I've been doing sales for a while now.
Wow, like decades.
Decades. I love it. I love it. I love the idea of my goal is to create a relationship with this individual, this company, and create trust, respect, and a level of value with them while trying to help them discover a product that will help their customers. So my goal when I'm going into sales is actually learning about the individual, their business, what's hurting, what their pain points are, how we can make them better to get them, the product that they need. And it's been something that I've loved and I've been able to help thousands of people out when I'm selling.
Now you actually have an example, right?
Yeah.
From the conference. So guys, I got to tell you about this. So we're in Europe at a conference last week. I used to go to this conference, but I hadn't been for a few years. Nick has been going about every 6 months for the last 2 years. There's 150, 180 people at this conference, and Nick just knows everybody. I'm like walking around the corner. He's like, "Oh, hi, how's your dog?" He's got his great, beautiful American accent. "How's your dog? How did the surgery go? How's your daughter? How was switching schools?" He knows every sports team under the sun, but he just it's like he's a long lost family friend that they only get to see every few months. It was fantastic, Nick. I know you don't toot your own horn very much, but
no, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I think when I go to these conferences, I find joy learning about people and what they like.
It's not fake.
It's not fake. I want to learn about the culture. I want to understand what do they like to do on a Saturday. Are they going to a kid's t-ball game? Do they have a dog that they like to, walk through the black forest?
Dogs.
And this last conference, I had an amazing experience with an individual. And if it was 3 years ago, I tried to pitch to them and they said, Nick, play in traffic. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to learn about this person, this individual, and I'm going to find out what makes them tick. What do they like to do? Okay, they're a kite surfer. They're a professional kite surfer. They like to, they've got bikes. I met their lovely wife. They're great people. So every time that I was able to speak with them, I was able to understand more about them and what they liked. This last time, they actually came up to me and said, "You know what, Nick? I want to speak to you about business."
Did they say, "Oh, I should have done this last time"?
They said, "You know what? I think it's time for us to actually speak. And one of the reasons why I'm speaking with you is you actually care about me, and it's lovely to speak with you." Now, that is not to toot my horn, but it is truth in saying that if you can create a relationship, if you can gain trust, care, respect with the people that you are selling to, you can create some amazing opportunities in the future. Now, if you're just instantly into the sale, shoving everything down your throat, it is not going to work. People will say, every now and then you'll make a sale, But over time, people say, I don't have time for you. I've got other more important things to do. Now, in today's webinar, what we're trying to show you is if you ask the correct questions, you can create the best opportunities for you and your customers in the future.
Love it. All righty. Here are some, this is actually 3 different billboards stacked here. You recognize any of these, Nick? Fortunately, you've probably seen too much of them.
I have seen those. Yes, no, these billboards are great, but at the same time, they teach us a lot. When you have active listening skills, people care about what you're saying. They have the full ability to see what's going on. Now, Aaron, I'm going to go on to your side just because when I speak, they can't see me. So let me just move over to your side. But when I'm moving, just
all righty. Come on over, Nicholas.
While we're doing these billboards, they show us what is going on with when we're doing active listening.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than when you're speaking with somebody and they say, you can tell they're not paying attention. They're looking at their phone. They're on their computer looking at their emails, and they're like, hello, I'm talking to you. You need to make sure that you're actively listening. That's making eye contact. Yeah. That's saying, hey, this is what's going on. Now, on top of that, when you are listening and taking notes, you need to make sure that you state to the customer, hey, I'm going to be taking notes. I want to make sure that we are, I'm paying attention to you. I understand what's going on. I'm just taking notes while we're looking at it. So please, and then I'll ask clarifying questions to make sure that they know, hey, I'm listening to you. So if you just said, we just started our business, okay, what month did you start that? And then notate and then go back. But you have to actively be listening.
It's critical. I actually had someone shadowing me yesterday. I was helping them out, and periodically they just kept getting their phone out. Yeah. I was like, wait, what? I'm not giving my time to help you out. You're not even listening.
The worst. The worst.
So anyway, so I just want to show, so these billboards are actually for a huge auto dealership here in Utah. And it's all focused on what they're trying to portray is that they listen. They're different than other auto dealerships and the slimy salespeople out there that are often associated with the car industry, but they're elephants. They listen. That's their focus. It's interesting because listening is actually not just hearing words. It's making the other people feel that they are heard.
Yeah.
Being interested in them. I love the direction of imagine. We talked about this at the beginning. Imagine if you're speaking with your best friend that you haven't seen for a couple of years.
Yeah.
How would you catch up?
Yeah, exactly.
You just want to hear them.
Yeah.
Spill their life story.
Yeah. You're going to make eye contact. How are you doing? What's going on here? What's going on with your wife? How are things going? But if you're just here like, okay,
Oh, wait, hold on a minute. Oh, sorry. Cool. Stock notification. Wait, hold on.
Bitcoin's up.
All right. So let's talk about specific questions. And we've got a list here. We actually had a longer list of 50 questions, but no one actually really has that much time to go through them. But what we're trying to portray here is the questions are useful, but what's more important is that they feel heard.
They feel heard.
Yeah.
And we're creating questions that allow us to identify the actual pain points that customer might have that will help you when you're doing your pitch. If you're not identifying these pain points, there's no purpose of these questions other than just gathering information. So you're going to notice when we're asking these questions, we're trying to identify a potential pain point that this customer might have that you can then swoop in and solve all of their answers, which we're trying to do. Now, before we get into this, I love the ability to first ask questions to check and gauge how much is this person into this conversation. It's kind of like that stability check. Where are you from? What's going on? What do you
like to do?
What do you like to eat? What are the sports teams? Oh, I noticed you're from Nashville. Have you had a Nashville hot chicken? You're from Buffalo, Buffalo Wild Wings. Unfortunately for me, it's a lot about food, but I love it. Got to maintain that figure. Now, one thing that we've got is you want to ask those questions to number one, see, are they engaged in this conversation? If they're strictly to business, then you can move on to business.
Oh, you got to adapt. Yeah.
But if they do answer some of these questions, that they've got a dog, a family, if they love the Denver Broncos, if they love the Minnesota Timberwolves, whatever it may be, you can then jot that down. And then the next time you speak with them, you can be like, did you watch that Wolves game when they lost? Whatever it may be.
But they won.
Yesterday they lost.
Yeah, but they beat Denver.
No comment. So we ask those questions and make sure that you're taken care of. Now, Aaron, let's talk about these questions.
Yeah, I just want to first to just add on to that. One of the greatest things to get a small business owner speaking is ask them what led them to go into business.
Yeah.
Right. Because in nearly every case, there's some sort of a passion there, more than just an interest that took them into business.
Absolutely.
And you'll learn a lot about that, because that same passion drives them to push through the pain points.
Yeah.
And the very purpose here that we're doing discovery is to help them associate their pain points, with the need for help.
Yep.
SEO help.
Absolutely.
And so I love that. Okay, so let's go through these questions. We've got 10. Hopefully we have enough time to go through them. The idea here is not to memorize the questions. You don't need to script these. The idea is to give you some examples of the types of questions that you could ask to learn about their business. So maybe I'll read through them, Nick, and give some insight as to why this question. What will it teach you?
Absolutely.
Types of things you're going to note. So Nick, how familiar are you with the basics of SEO? You know, kind of like the keyword research, the optimization phases, the link building stuff. Do you know much about these?
Great question. I love this question. What you're trying to identify here is, how much experience do they have with SEO? That will give you two things that will help you identify whether or not you need to define what SEO is. If they're rather familiar with all of that, you're actually going to be pitching why they should be working with you.
Yeah.
So if you can determine whether or not you need to define what SEO is, which is the work that goes into your website to make it so that it can become relevant and trusted, and get on into the top 10 of Google, that's the definition. Or if you need to say, you need to work with us because of X, Y, Z, with those unique selling points that you've got on your side of why you're the best SEO company.
Perfect. Plus, you want to know sort of, where is their knowledge at?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. What specific challenges or pain points have you encountered with your current SEO efforts?
Yeah. SEO, if this were 10 years ago, the average business did not know what SEO is. You had to define search engine optimization, eyes glazed over. Today, people know what it is. You need to explain why you are better. If you're working with us, you've got a reporting dashboard, everything done in-house, on-site and off-site, 24/7 performance monitoring. In this one, you're really trying to understand what sucks about what they're currently doing and how can we fix it? How can we get it going?
Yeah. How many SEO providers are there?
Oh,
would you say in the US?
Thousands. It's like asking how many dentists are there.
So it's not like you can have a top 10, right?
No, not at all.
You've got probably maybe the elite SEO providers, the very good, maybe the average, and then the flip side, right? They're not so good.
Exactly.
And so every SEO provider is ultimately doing a layer of the same sort of things. But we want to understand what challenges they've had, and then, obviously help them again to see that we can be a solution to their pain points. Like you said earlier on that first question, we want to know, do they really have a foundation understanding of SEO? Yep. Which means now they're just picking a provider. Once you know you need it, you're looking for someone to get it. Yep. It's like when I got a new dishwasher the other day. I knew I needed one. Now I got to pick one.
Exactly.
But if they don't know much about it, then we have to do the education piece as well, right?
Yep.
All right, let's move on. Can you provide some insights into your website's current search engine rankings and the organic traffic trends?
Yeah, this is whether or not you want to see how involved they're actually being with their website. Do they understand the different things? You can learn about whether or not they're in Google Analytics, if they've got something like SEMrush, if they've got, Ahrefs, whatever it may be, or if they're just looking at the search engine results page. But really, it's trying to gather how much knowledge does this person have, if they're going to be this guy who's checking everything that they're doing and how it's working, or whether or not they're going to be laid back and saying, what, I've got some guy that's working on it, but I haven't seen very much results on it. But you're gathering enough information to say, okay, this is how I'm going to sell it later on.
Right. All right. Have you identified any high potential keywords or phrases relevant to your business and that you're not ranking for? How familiar are you with where your rankings are right now?
Yeah, there's a bunch of opportunities here that you can see. future questions and concerns, whether or not it's at the onboarding phase or if it's later on when we're choosing our keywords. This one I like because you're saying we might have to define what is actual a high profile keyword or high potential keyword, whether or not it's a lot of traffic or it's an actual trigger based keyword. For example, if it's giving a definition, that's not going to get you actual business, that's going to get you traffic. But if it's like, I need a plumber ASAP, so it's 24/7 performance, 24/7 emergency plumber, right? That one's saying, hey, I need somebody right now. But it really allows you to see what level of SEO and whether or not they understand what actual SEO is.
Okay. I think also it'll lead into maybe understanding if they've ever had a paid campaign.
Exactly.
Right. Because usually those that do, they know exactly which phrases, the exact matches, which ones are their money phrases. Alrighty, what types of content have you created or have historically performed well for driving traffic to your site? What's this one going to tell you about the customer?
There's a couple of things that are automatically going through my head with this one. Number one, you can see whether or not they're utilizing AI or those types of things to create content for their website. Also, you can see whether or not they are trying to understand, if this was a year ago, content is king was the most important thing. In today's world, you need to have a good mixture of content and high quality links pointing back to your website. So really, this one is just trying to say, how involved are they on their website? Are they making regular updates? And then if we're getting hyper nerdy, we want to see what type of content they're creating, if they're utilizing AI, if it's something as crazy as like spun content, but it's just gathering more information on how they're interacting with their website.
Plus you're planting seeds, right? If someone says, oh my goodness, content, I haven't ever done that. And now this guy's asking about it. It's like, oh, penny drop.
You haven't gotten an oil change in a couple of years? Yikes.
Brilliant. I just repaired the brakes on my car.
That's good.
They were faulty.
It sounds about right.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's go to this next batch. Nick, how frequently do you analyze and adjust your SEO strategies based on search engine algorithm updates? That's a big word for you.
Algorithm. Algorithm. Yikes. This one's similar to the last question. You're just trying to understand how familiar are they with their website, if they're making regular changes. Sometimes if you make too many changes, Google says, I do not know what to do with your website. I'm not going to rank you.
Red shirt, blue shirt.
It is not good. And when you're making too many adjustments, your ranking actually doesn't have the ability to stabilize, and then they get stuck in a specific thing. Now, also, this tells you if they know about algorithm updates and those types of things, you need to make sure that you're hitting home why they should partner or work with a company like us, where we're aware of the algorithm updates. Tracking almost 7 million keywords will allow you to understand what's happening in the SEO world. So love that one.
Brilliant. All right. Are there any technical aspects of SEO, like site speed optimization or schema markup, that you believe could be improved, or that you've tried, or tell me a little bit about that?
In today's world, a lot of CMSs that are out there will do a lot of the work for you. The optimization, the compressing of images, the different schema markup. Like, for example, if you're utilizing Duda, CMS that I love working with, they take care of 99% of the technical aspects of SEO. Now, if you've got somebody who doesn't know this question and they've got an old, outdated theme that their cousin who's going to graphic design in high school or something.
Cool, Jim.
Exactly. That's when you might want to look into this, and there might be more of an uphill battle. And you can also, along with SEO, you can sell them a new website that has more opportunity to be optimized just by the basics of the coding that's within it. But this one helps you understand, do I have a potential of selling SEO and a website product? Or, if we're starting with SEO, it might be a little bit more of a build up later on.
All righty. How have you explored the impact of local SEO tactics, strategies like Google My Business, optimization within Google My Business, local business citations? What have you done there? It's probably a big one. This probably should have been earlier.
I can't imagine a world where you have a local business and you haven't created your Google My Business. That's like driving without a driver's license. It is just not going to work
Bad
out.
brakes.
It is not good. Bad brakes, no oil change. But you need to have a Google My Business. And if they are not familiar with Google My Business, that creates another selling opportunity for you to say, we need to get your NAP or your name, address, and phone number consistent across all of the major listing sites, and we'll get you taken care of. And that just is creating another pain point that you can address later on.
It is crazy though how many businesses don't have that going for them. They don't have a business profile management tool.
Yeah.
And it's really the first step. A lot of providers out there sell it as a separate product, like a local SEO or a listings product.
Which we do.
Which we do, yeah. But it's critical. You would never think of doing SEO holistically without that element, right?
Exactly. It is, you don't even need a website. That's how basic it is. So
brilliant. All righty. Which one are we on here?
8, 9.
9. All right. So, Nick, how do you currently track and attribute your conversions from organic traffic to your website?
This is just another balance check to say, how involved are you with your website?
You know where people are coming from.
What conversion optimization have you done, whether or not it's through Google Analytics or the individual CMS that you've got? What are you doing to understand where your traffic is coming from, where you're getting conversions from? A lot of CMSs, a lot of CRMs do this for you as well, but it's just trying to see, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, what are you doing to actually get it going? And then we'll address that pain point later on.
Love it. All right, to round out these 10, what specific goals, Nick, do you hope to achieve with better SEO? You know, both maybe like short term, next 6, 12 months, and then maybe 3, 4 years.
This question fascinates me, because if somebody does not have SEO in their goals, I like to go back to the question of, when was the last time you used Google?
Or brush your teeth.
Or brush your teeth.
You cannot go very long.
You can't go very long. But if you haven't used Google in the last month, you know, I've never met somebody who doesn't do that, unless, you know.
Well, I was at a training, and 15 people there. It's like, okay, I'm just going to start off with a poll. You know, who's used Google this year? And they're like, who is this guy? Who came to like do this SEO training?
Yeah.
All right, who used it this month? Who used it? Who's using it right now instead of the training?
Exactly.
You know,
and it comes back to that of just making sure that they have that pain point of, if you are using Google, are your customers using Google? The answer is yes. Yeah. So we need to get you on it.
Yeah, they're not finding you. They don't know that you exist.
We need to remember that when we're asking these questions, we're gathering different points of view to be able to create a pain that we are going to address. We want to make sure that we're solving a problem. We have the problems identified. That's what all of this discovery is for. Identifying the problems and finding ways to solve those problems with the product that we've got.
Yeah. Man, this was good.
It was good.
I just want to go find people to ask questions to. So let's wrap it up again. We started off with the story. The person that you met with at the conference, you met with a few years ago. The main point that we're talking about today, and questions come out of it, but it's about active listening.
Yeah.
It's about creating a relationship. It's about being truly invested in other people, caring, the heart, right? Because that's what people, they trust others who truly care.
When you care about something, you're going to actively listen. So when you're learning about this business and trying to find a solution for them, you will learn to care. You will learn to understand that this person has had this business that was handed down from their father, that had it in, yellow pages and all these other things. And you're going to find a solution that will best help them and help their customers get the solutions that they're searching for. I've always said it is search engine optimization, not manipulation. You're trying to find the best opportunity for them. And when you care, you get and discover the pain points that you're really looking for.
Ask open-ended questions. Pay attention. Use what they share you to help them feel heard and identify that they have pain points and that you have the solution. Now, it may not work out right now, but you'll have a connection that will help steer them down the track. And that's what I wanted to share. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time.